Hi, my name is Dr. Richard Abbey, and I help transform the lives of people suffering from traumatic brain injury. And my heart really goes out to people with concussions and traumatic brain injuries because there's not a lot of places where you can go. We see people from all over, and the standard advice is to sit at home. And, it's kind of like a bruise to the brain, and you'll get better over time. And the reality is that actually doesn't happen for everybody. And there's a lot of misconceptions. So, many people I've talked to will say, gee, Dr. Abbey, I didn't have a head injury, but I got into a head-on collision going 60 miles an hour. So many people don't understand that the brain is very pliable organ, and there's a lot of bony structures in our brain. So when it comes to a sudden stop, you have the point of impact called a coup. That's where your brain might have kind of hit, maybe because it stopped or it hit something. Maybe it didn't even hit your head, but when your body stops that quickly, your brain kind of collides into the skull of your head. And then it goes to the opposite side, and that's called the contre-coup. And so when we do brain imaging, we can actually see the point of impact and the contre-coup, the kind of the ricochet. The other thing that happens is your brain will kind of move around. And so that kind of shears the axons. And here's an example of an axon right here that's actually damaged. So the big thing in traumatic brain injury or concussion is that the 50% of the injury is the impact. The other 50% is the inflammation, and the inflammation can take weeks to take place in the damage. Many people don't actually return to where they were before. They have difficulties with focus and concentration, executive functions, planning, organization. Their sleep is dysregulated. That's because there's a structure back here called the reticular formation. And when that is disrupted, it's kind of part of the brainstem that's kind of turning on and off our sleep cycle. And with our sleep cycle being disrupted, that also exacerbates these difficulties with cognitive functions. So there's so many people walking around with these difficulties. And I can't tell you the number of people that have been to various medical centers, and the advice that they've gotten is just to rest, sit in dark rooms with the lights off. The paradigm has completely shifted. And, when we see clients, we can actually fairly quickly start getting them back to a place of healing and getting better. I can't tell you the number of people that I've seen with persistent headaches several times a day, or maybe they actually always have a headache. Every time they're awake is this mild, dull headache, a 4, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst. Maybe they're walking around with a 4 to 5 or even a 7 or 8. It's terrible. And what's unfortunate is they don't know where to go. So I've had people come to see us that have been suffering for years. Even a year is too long. And so what do we do about that? So if you're suffering with a traumatic brain injury and it's been a few months and you're still not recovered, even though it might have been what we call a mild traumatic brain injury, where you never had a loss of consciousness, or maybe you never had some real significant symptoms other than maybe a persistent headache, maybe your sleep was disrupted, maybe you were nauseous, but now there's these lingering problems, we can actually help. And so there's many ways to do that. If you're interested in learning about them, there's amazing ways that you can use the technology that we would actually place in your home, and you can actually get better. Other tips and tricks, depending, if you get approval from your doctor, to exercise. Exercise is an amazing thing for the neuroplasticity in your mind. If you can allow yourself to get the sleep and rest that you need, that's helpful. Good nutrition. But usually the brain will recover up to a certain extent on its own, and then it needs help. And if you have already gotten help with rehab in a hospital, which tends to be weak out here on the West Coast, or from a speech pathologist or a physical therapist, or many people are, actually being seen for the residual pain that they're having in their neck, the neck tension, or their back, because those things were injured. So there's actually many things you can do for the brain to actually get better and to get you back to baseline, or even better than that. So you don't have to sit at home. We've actually literally had people that could not work anymore, and they're sitting at home, they don't know what to do. And I'm here to tell you, we've been doing this for over a decade, helping people recover and get back to their place of health, back to their place of thriving. So if you're a young child, you're an adult, or older adult, and you've experienced a traumatic brain injury, give us a call. Our number is 650-614-0014, or an email. You can probably just click on the website links. I'll put one down below, and we can help. I just want to send this message out because if you have an attention problem, if you have a learning disorder, if you have an anxiety or depression, there's places to go. There are very few places where you can go right now if you have had a concussion or traumatic brain injury, where people actually know how to help you and what to do, other than rest. And you actually didn't need to probably go see your doctor for that advice. If you'd like our help, let us know. We have a very compassionate team that just wants to help people get better so they can thrive again. And if that is of interest to you, let us know, and we'll answer all your questions for you.